Go ahead and unpause the recording. And so, officially welcome everybody to the new campaign, Starfinder.
Woohoo!
Yay.
I'm calling this campaign the Freelance Initiative. And Alex, I don't know exactly at what point you joined in, but
Just now.
the long and short of it is, once we get past the you're all at a bar phase, you're going to just be set loose in the galaxy. I am going to give you the opportunity to either just freelance some work, run cargo, smuggle illicit goods, do piratey stuff, or you could do work for the major powers. I will now take you to the sector map and give you an overview of things.
Oh, who else wants to be Firefly?
I also draw inspiration from Firefly. But I
That's where
also
I've been mainly thinking. I'm like, okay, are we going to be Han Solo or Malcolm Reynolds? I'm good either way.
but I also draw inspiration from GTA.
Do I
Each
want
of
to be Kate or Jane? Hmm.
I have, for Mafe's benefit, I have just dropped in a reputation slider for the four major powers of the sector, as well as the Pirates faction. As you all do work for various governments or do pirating, your reputation will be affected positively and negatively, depending on who's at war with
Okay.
each other. If you are freelancing and you are privateering and attacking ships from a differently flagged vessel that your contractor is at war with, you will receive positive reputation with your contractor and negative reputation with the opposing government. Get to a certain
Ooh,
point, and you will have a hell of a time transiting through the low reputation space. On the positive
nice.
side, your friendly allied systems will treat you much more favorably. They might be more willing to share information, might be more willing to upgrade ships at discount prices, sell you more difficult goods to find, etc., etc.
Ooh, nice. So one of the expensive like gaming board games, Star Wars Outer Rim,
Mm?
does something quite like that. So where you have reputation with either the rebellion, the empire, or the smugglers guild, and depending on who your starting character is and stuff like that, yes, things will easier or worse in certain areas because of it. So I'm excited about that.
I'm a hunt some bounty.
Uh, and so, right now, y'all at level 1 have no reputation whatsoever. Nobody knows who you are. There isn't a soul alive in any of these systems, be they human, alien, or other,
I
that knows who or what you are.
was about to say the damn robots. It's always the robots.
And so, I will keep this reputation slider on this screen in perpetuity, and it will adjust as you go about your lives in this campaign. Now comes the lore dump.
I feel like if it had been the Democratic Republic of Procyon, we could have called it DERP.
I was actually kind of going for more of a North Korea vibe.
Oh no, I totally got that. And did you see in the Olympics when they announced South Korea as North Korea?
God, man, France is
Oh,
totally fucking up.
Yeah, the
fuck the
People's
frauds.
Democrat, the People's Democratic Republic of Korea with its white, red, and blue flag. Oh, they were pissed.
Yeah, I mean, just How do you fuck up so bad, France?
It's France. We don't understand.
It's,
No, okay.
it's
Let's back that up. It's
yeah,
Paris. Paris is just its own entity of concentrated fuck up. Apparently,
yeah.
the rest of France is pretty chill.
Well, I, for one, will definitely be in the outskirts, because that's where they make the good cheese.
I figured you'd go settle in, frick, Champagne or whatever.
Champagne? You know, I like a good bubbly, but honestly, I would probably wind up. God, where would I
Well,
wind up?
let's break that
You
down.
know,
Are you
I would
more of a
actually.
wine snob or a cheese snob?
I would actually probably wind up over closer to the Rhine. So I would probably be getting like the Gewürztraminer influence, whatever that side of France deals in.
What about your weed?
That is totally illegal in France,
Yeah,
but
that
the
would be
Netherlands are right
problematic
next
in
door.
France, but yeah, again, Netherlands right there.
Netherlands are right next door.
So yeah, at least it wouldn't be a long trip, and all of it's in the Geigenschein. No, wait, that's a astronomical term. The
Oh,
shining,
sounds like
the shining, moving freely in.
Also, trains.
you can't smoke pot in France.
I don't believe so,
No,
actually. No.
no. In fact, if I recall, Snoop Dogg was doing something over there, and they were like, "They don't fuck around. Do not, nah, dog. We got it covered. Do
Yeah,
not. Okay."
it's called international waters.
I'm pretty sure that's how he dealt with it.
The ultimate fuck around and find out guy.
Yes. Anyway, lore dump. So, the map that you see before you is the Quadrant, the association of 5 major stars and 9 lesser dwarves comprising settled space.
Sorry, did you say dwarves?
Oh,
Uh, dwarf stars.
Ah, okay.
The very, very tiny red dots with question marks near them.
Okay.
As well as the 2 circling the primary of Geminid Ascendancy and 1 circling the primary of Freespace Alliance.
They are red dwarves. I like this.
They are red dwarves. Anyway, the nebulosity the stars find themselves in makes travel between the stars more difficult when compared to the short jumps of planet to planet or city to city. The invention of the drift drive has made it more easy to access the interspace between the stars, but travel is predominantly done via jump gates. Ships primarily use the intersystem gate network, or simply called just the network. Large structures that make light years speed by in minutes. Travel between the stars without the gates would take weeks, months, or years, depending on the quality of your drift drive. The gates also act as checkpoints, customs, military posts, and are usually the most fortified part of any power's space. Beyond it, this is where the pirates thrive, off-grid. Everywhere outside of the major power's sphere of influence, everywhere between the network gates that make inter-system social communication, commerce, and military might possible, is basically all pirate space.
I feel like
that
you missed
sounds
an
like a lot of
opportunity
territory.
to put a Stargate there. I just feel like that was a missed opportunity.
I really considered it, but I found some really, really cool, like, Stargate jump gates, just pictures like the one I used.
Eh,
They were just really too cool to, not use.
that's fair.
Brian, does
Yes.
it cost money to go through these gates?
I have not
It
determined
does
yet.
now. Thanks.
They are controlled checkpoints, and so it's basically the whim of the government. Generally speaking, most gates are open. They kind of have a Bosporus Strait kind of usage. You can basically use it for commercial, personal transit with minimal interference, but eyebrows start raising when more powerful military ships start lining up. Gates can be closed if systems go to war, and so those particular gates can be denied entry or access, any non-official access. Which is where, again, the pirates really thrive in the between system areas. They have, generally speaking, very high-level drift drives that allow them to, scoop between the interstellar spaces relatively quickly. And so, first up on the system power list, up at the top with the most planets, is the Democratic People's Republic of Procyon, or the DPRP. Managed democracy at its finest, with the party chairman enjoying 100.32% positive approval rating. The local edition of cops, all suspects are guilty. Period. Otherwise, they wouldn't be suspects, would they?
I suddenly feel like we're in Venezuela now.
Society? Every denizen has a citizenship level, publicly said to range from 1 to 15, with level 1 being executive branch government and other honored citizens. And the party's solemn oath that anyone can move freely between citizenship levels based on their vigilance and patriotism. It is a sacred promise among the denizens who believe it wholeheartedly, seeing members of their own community taken to higher or lower cities or planets with regularity. In practice, however, the cutthroat system nurtured by the government ensures that no one ever really moves far from where they started. A level 10 is never going to be a level 8, to say nothing of anything higher. But there is motivation even in the level 10s, who toil tirelessly, knowing there is a full third of society living in worse shit than they're dealing with, which gives them hope in the slums. Of course, the reality is levels 11 to 15 don't exist, except as the true lies told by society's slaves. Next, we have the Freespace Alliance. Formerly mining colonies of the DPRP, the difficult drift travel through the nebula always made colonies a long stretch for supply lines, and inevitably the citizenship level 10 expats that were enslaved on the planets rebelled. In the 200 years since, they've built a democratic confederacy. A small military ensures that the local space is well policed, but local control is generally a rule throughout Alliance territory. This has resulted in a very non-uniform code of justice. Always check local laws before entering regional territory.
Like the fine print.
Next, we have the Geminid Ascendancy. They are a magitocracy, for lack of a better term. The most powerful wielder of the magical essences of existence that gives technomancers their power is the leader, ruler, chief decision-maker of the entire technomagical bureaucracy. Of course, the all-powerful leader can be challenged by anyone at any time. Of course, there is a not insignificant amount of paperwork that has to be filed, and not every challenge is necessarily a quote-unquote duel to the death. We are, after all, not savages. There are, however, several predicated reasons why a quote-unquote death penalty challenge can be issued. Which of the 147 arch ascendants that have ruled over this corner of space, 142 have ascended to the position by just such challenge. Governmental roles and bureaucratic functions likewise prioritize the more magically inclined as it pertains to their particular field. For example, their military generals are powerful magic wielders in combat, and meanwhile, the best baker in town literally has magic fingers.
Oh, the uses.
Last of the major system powers, we have the Bàquán Dynasty. They are a monastic theocracy with a hereditary ruler. Prosperity has brought fame and fortune to the dynasty, and its people are some of the happiest, most content denizens of the entire quadrant. However, this was not always the case. The previous monarch was a tyrant that went to war with every other power in the area, killed billions of his own people in weapons test, and then stole a ship to go hunt the Xenos that lay beyond the edge of quadrant space, ending his 3-year reign. Such is the dynasty's ebbs and flows with the changing of power. And change will be coming soon, one way or another, as the Taisho Emperor's 90-year reign nears his natural demise. The young Crown Prince Shodai is expected to take his father's place and usher in another century of prosperity, but you know how royal families get.
Please tell me you're going to put this all in a handout or something.
I will indeed. I will be posting it into the diary as soon as I am done reading it.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, lore dump! Which leaves us with pirate space. They're pirates in space. They do pirate stuff. You want drugs? They got drugs. You want illegal arms deals? They got illegal arms deals. Hijacking a cargo shipment's just a few credits. Assassinate a business rival? Let's attack the Luigi. You want all the connections? You want all the connections to society's seedy underbelly because no utopia can exist without crime? They got it in spades. And the man behind the curtain, someone reportedly never seen in public, has only ever been identified as VP, even by other powers, global powers, spies, never been able to identify him. The crime organization he runs has undying loyalty to him and are keen to prevent any unwanted entanglements perpetuated by the Quadrant's powers, to lethal ends when necessary.
Ouch.
And so, that is the lore dump. I will be sure to copy that over into the journal entry. But next, we will move on to what populates this universe. The Starfinder system that I loaded up has a lot of compendiums already built in. Some of you may have already been messing around in them. Much like Alex's system, if you go to the compendiums folders under character building, we have species, and they included every single goddamn one that has existed in every expansion pack in the last, 5 years?
Awesome.
So if you really want to go through every single one and look them up yourself, you can. On the other hand, if you want to stick with what's in the PDF that I sent you, that only leaves us with a handful of creatures, and I will highlight a couple others that I personally enjoyed. The primary races or species in the actual player's handbook are androids, humans, Kasathas, they're a 4-armed race, Lashuntas, who are going to be covered later, I'll tell you who they are, Shirins, they are insectoid Zindi, Vesk, they are reptilian Zindi. That's an Enterprise reference, if anybody failed to miss that one. I don't know how up-to-date Sam is on that particular one.
Not at all.
On what?
Okay. we have bug humanoid, we have reptile humanoid. And I will cover the rest of the races. So, I have here the Lashunta. These are some of the favorite races that I found while I was going through it. The Lashunta,
Oh,
for
that's the most bangable bug person I've seen in a while.
for those of you who want to be Mantis.
She was kind of useless, though.
There
Wow.
are the Isoki, if you want to be Master Splinter.
Space Skaven! We got it before G-Dubs did it.
One of our rat is Splinter.
Next up, we have the Lashunta, who...
The reputation. Yeah, there. There you go.
Yep, yep, I saw that. The Lashunta, they are a four-armed species, for anybody that wants to be Goro.
Are they big like Goro, or are they more like
Pretty spindly, honestly.
the
They have a
asshole pod
standard
racer in
they have a
Phantom
standard
Menace?
humanoid size range,
Oh.
so they can be very short, 4'6", up to very tall, 7 foot. They can be
Oh,
they can bulk up if they want to, if that is their focus.
Sebulba is pretty beefy, I'm not gonna lie.
It's because he walked on his hands. Did you see those legs?
Uh-huh.
Next up, we
Bobo
have
was wiry but strong.
the Skittermander. For anybody that has ever desired to be Stitch.
It's an
Mm.
Ewok on crack.
Of course,
I wish I could see these.
I am presently recording, and timestamp is approximately 20 minutes.
I will have to, look at all this.
Of course, we also have access to legacy races, so anybody that has played D&D, if you wanted to be a space elf, you could be a space elf. If you wanted to be an orc, then you can be a space orc.
There, mate, if I'm putting it in chat.
And if he's driving right now, that will still be a difficult view.
I didn't realize he was driving.
I'm in the cell lot.
And
Oh,
you
okay,
might
so
want to
you're
retake your screenshot because the space orc is relevant.
Damn it, Brian.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm a visual storyteller. What can I say?
Are there more, or should I?
No,
should
this
I
is
hold
it.
on?
That's it. That's
Okay.
everything I got. I have spent my load.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Oh,
B.
that looks like a very classy boy.
Stand by, please.
Custom maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, I power cycled it and it seemed to work. So, anywho, so that is the lore dump. There are countless alien species that, if you want to be a human, you can be a human. If you do not want to be a human, there is a literal galaxy out there. There are brains in jars. There are flying tentacle monsters. I mean, it's out there.
Brian, you can't give a sci-fi nerd that kind of choice, bro.
I can tell you the species name. Okay, hang on.
Flying spaghetti monster.
Yes, flying spaghetti monster, Sam.
Leto the Second, the giant human worm hybrid with psionic powers.
Let's see.
Technically Leto the Third, but nobody likes to talk about that.
Uh. Alright, so it is. I spelled that right. And there we go.
Okay.
Save and send.
All right. So what do we all want to be?
Yes.
So this is called a Barathu.
Oh,
In
it's in
the
the chat.
Discord chat.
Oh no, no, no. That is too many jokes. That is too many jokes.
Oh, why are you
No, no, no.
doing...
The best part is that they can actively change themselves to have more tentacles. Or really anything, but in this context, more tentacles.
Yes,
Oh
blimp-like creatures
no.
vaguely reminiscent of jellyfish.
I thought you were gonna say Velik. I'm like, what the hell happened to Velik?
A very unusual evolutionary adaptation of Velik.
That would have been Fuckboy, not Velik. Benton, that's his name.
Well, who's to say it wasn't both?
It was a horrible transporter accident.
Oh god, you got Tuvixed? I'm so sorry.
Fuck Tuvix.
But good Lower Decks episode. Anyway, so that is, yes, the species of note. So, as you pick your species, you'll be able to drag it onto your character sheet.
Ooh, they did that? Nice.
And
But only from the compendium, right?
only from the compendium.
Okay, just double checking.
And so, many of your stat bonuses come from these initial setups. So, species androids, for example, gives you a +2 to your dex, +2 to your intelligence, -2 to charisma, and a base hit point of 4.
Oh,
Now,
I'm sorry. Nope, I can't. I'm sorry. I just had the horrible idea to be that sex bot from II.
there are ways to do that.
Jude
Because
Law.
this is the ultimate in customization. You see archetypes on the character building lists, you see
Oh.
feats on the character building list, you see themes on the character building list. These all build off of each other such that, not every, level 10 barbarian is going to look exactly the same because Bear Totem is the only worthwhile. This is, yeah, if you wanted to be the sex robot from, shit, what was it?
AI.
AI, thank you. For some reason, I was thinking Babylon 5, and even that's wrong. The other Roddenberry one. Anyway, irrelevant. There are ways to do that and to actually make it work. You could be an envoy entertainer.
I could be an idol.
You could be an idol. You could have feats.
Oh, excuse me, icon, not idol.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
You just want to be robot Inara.
And so these things are indeed possible. So the health works differently. You have a very small amount of health. Pretty much everybody is squishy. But you have different kinds of armor class. You basically have your body armor that you're all familiar with, but then you also have various force fields and other enhancements that prevent like laser damage, things that are energy-based weapons. The ability also, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but there are things called resolve points. You get a certain number of them per level, per long rest. And you can spend a resolve point to kind of heal yourself. If your body armor goes down and you lose, 4 out of your 8 hit points, just as an example, you can duck behind a barrel and use a resolve point to basically catch your breath.
Ooh.
So we'll get back to that. I'll probably do like I did for Star Trek, and we'll learn as we actually do a combat. We'll kind of have the introductory dungeon. But anyway, right now, you'll notice that you just don't get a lot of health from this. After races, let's see, I'll catch up on my notes here. After races, you choose a theme. The theme of your character is kind of the core, basic idea of it. It's like if you wanted to be, like I'm looking here, a paranormal investigator, then, there, a lot of your class skills, what we would refer to in D&D as class skills, come from your theme, as well as your class. So, like paranormal investigator. First level, you're skilled at identifying patterns, finding clues, piecing together puzzles. You get a +1 bonus on checks, this, that, another thing. You get better rolls at 6th, at 12th, at 18th. And this would also, depending on what you pick, would give you some skills or adjust your abilities in others. Anybody that was playing D&D circa 2000 is going to recognize how this works. DCs are cumulative. All of your skill checks are cumulative. And so we could have rolling a d20 for a skill check and having +13 added to it. You won't get that right off the bat, but first level characters, there are still ways to get, +5, +6, +7 right out of the gate.
Okay.
Let's see.
That is insane, but okay.
Yeah, it's, as I recall, this feels a lot like how AC and DC worked in 3rd edition D&D.
Mm.
If memory serves. Has been a minute.
Sounds fairly much like it.
Let's see.
So-
Alright, and then after a theme, you choose your class. Which they didn't include. No, they did include everything. Anyway, so like Technomancer, for example, is basically your spellcaster. Solarian is kind of Superman. You get your powers from a solar essence within you. Each of these classes.
Does that mean a Viltrumite?
Oh god, no.
Yes, you could go with the Viltrumites. You could definitely do that kind of build with the Solarian class. This is where you get a lot of your, for lack of a better term, your cantrips. So like I'm looking at Solarian, Skill Adept. As part of the process that led you to become a Solarian, you gained additional insight and training, so you get 2 additional skills and add them to your skill list. Solar Manifestation. You gain the physical manifestation of solar power. The base form of your solar manifestation, when not actively in use, is a mote of stellar energy, slightly smaller than your fist, that hovers near your head. Beyond the solar mote, your manifestation can take one of 2 additional forms, armor or weapon. You must pick one. Upon taking your first level of Solarian, you choose whether the solar manifestation glows brightly in one color, common to stars, blue, red, white, or yellow, or is perfect darkness of a black hole. A glowing solar manifestation, regardless of its form, sheds dim light in 20 foot. You can shut off the light as a standard action in order to blend in. or assist in stealth, but whenever you enter a stellar mode, the glow or darkness returns immediately. Your stellar mode is the next one, and so on and so forth. Your classes then give you various options. You don't get every single one of these at each additional level. As I recall, you pick from one of them. So, at third level, for example, the Solarian can choose from Sidereal Influence. You can tap into stellar forces outside of battle to affect your skill rolls. You can do a weapon specialization that would probably be the Viltrumite build.
Okay. I'm going to be picking up my peoples in a minute, so I'm going to cut the mic, but I will still kind of listen in.
It's all right. And then after that, it is simply finalizing ability scores, beginning on page 18. Let me skip a second. Which the standard ability scores, we're going to use Alex's system of rolling 4d6 7 times, dropping the lowest dice from each of them, dropping the lowest total of all that, and you may distribute as you see fit.
Okay.
And then leveling up after that, first level, you get, let's see, at first level you get 1 feat. Let's see, first feat and the theme benefit. So under the feats tab is where you will find everything, although because there's a lot of reading when it comes to feats, I really recommend just opening the PDF and going to page... hold on. Going to page 152, and all of the feats are summarized in a 2-page table, 3-page table, excuse me. Several have prerequisites, such as dexterity 17, the basic sorts of stuff that feats might have as a prerequisite, but they are also listed on the table. And that could help you further refine whatever concept you wanted to run. And next on my notes list...
There are way too many species.
Yeah, if you really just want the short list, just look at the species in the Starfinder PDF that I had posted in the Discord there. Okay, anyway, leveling up and ability scores. Every 5 levels, you'll get to increase and customize your ability score. Each time you reach one of those levels, choose 4 of your ability scores to increase. If that ability score is 17 or higher, you can permanently increase it by 1. If it's 16 or lower, you get to increase it by 2. So you do get to scale a lot better than you do in D&D.
Okay.
Goddamn, where'd you go?
Okay, I gotta be right back.
Okay. I have lost my next bookmark anyway, so give me a second. Right, there it is. Anyway, so every other level on your odd levels, so first, third, fifth, etc., you will get to add another feat. Which means if this campaign went to 19th level, you would have 10 feats in addition to all of your class benefits and your theme benefits. playing a game that long can also get very wieldy on the options list. So I have no idea how long we'll actually go. Probably once everybody gets bored. And so, any questions on what I've covered so far?
I'm waiting for the rule book thingy to load. Trying to look at races.
For the network, is it like a discovery of ancient technology, a la like Stargate or Mass Effect, or is it more of a modern adaptation? What exactly is the setup on that?
This is a modern, well, modern and several centuries old, but this was what originally connected all of these systems together. It's like all of the various alien species kind of intermingled with their own sublight or, you know, initial forms of faster than light travel in this part of the galaxy. And thankfully, pretty much everybody that made it out into the galaxy was basically human level of belligerence. So, capitalism happened. And these gates were one of the first connections between this part of the quadrant. So it's old, about 5 centuries old, but still modern and kept up with, understood. If one went down, it might take some time to repair, but they would be able to repair it.
Okay, so it's not like a Stargate situation where you potentially have all of these lost gates that punching in random coordinates you might find forgotten stuff.
There's no public knowledge of any lost gates, uh, gates that were unsanctioned builds. So far as the entire populace knows, the system gates are the only ones in existence. Strictly speaking, there's nothing that would prevent somebody from creating one, but they're resource intense, so they'd have to be a pretty powerful entity.
And then is it Stargate with a set of coordinates that are punched in for each travel, or is it more like Mass Effect where each gate is built with predetermined potential pairs?
It's a basically a two-way wormhole, effectively. Is you can have ships passing simultaneous in both directions, but it is just a corridor from one gate to the other.
Okay, so like you
And
can't go to one gate and jump to any number of other gates. It's a one to one. If like one is lost, then it's some secret. The pair is somewhere else that you'd have to find too, kind of thing.
right, yeah, it's for example on the red dwarf stars around the system, there could potentially be gates between them, but only the pirates might know that.
Are we doing one character or are we doing a throwaway one too?
It's just one character. They may die. As I understand it, bad guys in this system hit hard. And so death is a possibility, if not probability. So we're operating on Alex campaign level of rules. And so next up on the oh my god that's a long list checkpoint is equipment. And there is a lot of it. The vast majority also has a level requirement. And so, let me find the weapons. Come on, where are you?
Again. You're basically the amount of time this one wants to be is BS. I'm literally
Weapons 168. Thank you. So, weapons. Most weapons have ammunition, electrical charges, cartridges. This should have everything built in when we get to that it'll be drag and drop, and it should, in theory, track bullets. Honestly, we probably won't pay that close attention. So, if it doesn't work, que sera? Much like D&D, your roll to hit is targeting their armor class, either their energy armor class or their kinetic armor class, depending on what type of damage the weapon deals. In some cases, a weapon's damage can be magically altered with weapons fusions or other alterations, but it will never change the base weapon's targeting armor class. They are either always a phaser or a laser pistol is always going to shoot at the energy armor class, and a cudgel is always going to be hitting the kinetic armor class. On page 171 is the start of the weapons tables. The way that this is going to work is the weapons that you can carry are equal to 2 above your current level. So to start the game, you could have equipment rated up to level 3. And the reason for this, the meta is because the game's slightly broken when it comes to the weapons department. The in-universe answer is that a lot of the more powerful weaponry, the more powerful armor requires permits, is more difficult to obtain, carries military classifications, and is so more difficult to obtain. And so while you might be able to attain a level 13 battle glove as a level 1 character, if anybody with any authority saw you wielding that, it would be instantly confiscated, and you would probably have some fines or prison time. That said, if you acquired said battle glove, you could hawk it on the black market. Just saying. Combat, it works pretty similarly to the way that Star Trek worked. Basically got a major, minor, and movement actions. They call it something else, but that's basically the, there we go. You have a standard action, which is the main component of your turn, such as an attack, casting a spell, reading a book, picking up something. You then also have a move action that allows you to, let's see, page 255 for move speed. What is the standard move speed? Standard move speed tends to be 30 feet, so nothing interesting there. You then have what Star Trek called a minor action. You also have a swift action, which consumes a very small amount of time and is only used in rare cases. A common swift action is dropping to a prone position. You also have a full action. A full action consumes all of your effort during your turn, meaning you can only do that and can't take any other movement or swift action. Don't need to read any of that. Combat runs pretty much the same as every other combat. You roll to hit. If you beat their armor class, you roll damage. We're back to numbers making sense again. A nat 20 is good again. And then the last point of overview is magic and spells. The Technomancer class has various spells. Most of them are pretty similar to their D&D style. Fear, fatigue, feeble mind, flight. And there are a couple that are lore specific to Starfinder, and it's the lore that I'm not using. So if you see any of those, just disregard them.
Looks like everybody's reading.
Yeah, well, you can read and listen. I mean, no point in all of us sitting in silence.
No, it's all good.
And so, the Technomancer, on page 338 of the guide, breaks down the spell list. 0 level spells are your cantrips, first level, same as D&D, nothing interesting. Mystic spell list is right before that, and those are the only 2 magic users in the game. It is technically making it science fantasy, which is why that comedy skit I sent some weeks ago had a lot of Star Wars references. But
Well,
yeah,
I was between.
I'm kind of trying to give it more of a Firefly feel.
Well, there was 2 races, and I don't feel like doing spells this time, so that narrows it down.
Dibs on DPS.
DPS.
Damage per second.
Bam, how long have you been playing an online MMO and you don't know what DPS is?
I mean, I do if I think about it, but
It's one of
I'm
those
not used
acronyms that you have
hearing,
to think about.
not used to just hearing it spoken.
All right. Well, I personally am gonna have to do this later.
Yes,
Something came up.
there is a lot out there. Personally, I found when I was building a character, I kind of looked through, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and then I jumped over to the feats, and then worked backwards. That was how I did
Okay.
it.
Okay. And I'll take a look at the recording and such as well.
Yep. The only thing that's left to really go over are the starships, and your starting gear. The starships, we've got. Excuse me. I'm going to be giving you, as I said way back at the start, either a basic freighter that is capable of carrying all of you, or the equivalent amount of build points. On the character screen. Oh, I didn't make one.
I think less building right now is probably
I
better.
I feel like a light freighter with a couple guns on it is the classic answer.
Yeah, so. Alright, there we go. I have just added ship to the player characters folder. And under the compendiums, down under vehicles and ships, there are starship components, and this list is intolerable. Again, go to the player's handbook for the much more easily readable version. The tables are very, very informative and very easy to use. And basically, at lower levels, you have fewer build points to go into the ships. As you gain levels, you gain build points to either upgrade ships or to build new ships. If you wanted to have a primary freighter and eventual build points that comes your way, you build a fighter that goes alongside it. These things are all possible. You have directional firing, forward, backwards, starboard, port.
Are we going to be worrying about 3D spaces, up and down and whatnot?
No, we're not going to worry about up and down. We will be using the hex. Anytime that we are in space, we'll be using the hex map. And your drift engine, in addition to the storytelling element of limiting your sublight between gate travel, is also one of the things necessary. Or let's see. Yes, as I recall, your drift engines are also what allow you to have speed and maneuverability in space battles. I'm still reading through that section, so there is still a lot that I don't quite understand. I have not yet built a ship myself to understand the system. I slapped all of this together in about 4 hours this afternoon, so... Yes, I had a lot of the lore written down, but the quick overview that I had today, that was as much as I had done. For the most part, it's very intuitive. The skill checks are, the same as 5e, as 3, as Pathfinder. We will have a lot more flexibility in actually being able to identify, hey, is that life science or is that medicine, as opposed to make a science con roll. Never mind the fact that I chose 2 intelligence attributes, but never mind.
All right.
Anyway,
sounds
so
good.
Yep, we will have an official character building session once we finish Trek. We'll get everybody else caught up, and by everybody else I mean John, and possibly anything that may have missed. Yeah, sure, you betcha.
So are we not starting to build our characters?
You can continue playing around with it. I'm going to leave this system active for a week before I go back to working on Star Trek again. So if you wanted to come in here and read it, like I said, it's a hell of a lot easier to just read through the Player's Handbook, the core rulebook, just because the tables are easier than these all-inclusive lists that helpfully Starfinder module provided, so that we don't have to write anything in, but difficult when actually trying to do anything.
And what are we rolling stats with? Is that a d20?
So those are going to be 4d6 lasso. You will drop the lowest one, that 2, and that leaves you with a, for example on this one, a 14 as one stat. Do it 7 times, drop the lowest of all of those, and those are your stats that you can input into your strength, dexterity, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, as you see fit, based on your class, theme, and overall build, whatever requirements your feats might have, for example.
1d6. Oh, 4.
Alright, 6 more times. And you're apparently rolling as... I gotta figure... Yeah, I slapped this together. You're rolling as basically the one guy that could see everything.
Okay.
Ooh, perfect roll.
Okay, I will catch you guys later.
So, alright, good night. I'm actually going to end the recording here.